you download the client application from Grazi, and you want to say thank you. So you use it to say thank you. And by doing so, you create a grot, which you would see if that thing went there. But it's a document you put in your Dropbox. Then at the same time, you send an email to the person you're sending this to, who then downloads the client application from Grazi by clicking that link in their email. And that application pulls my grot from my Dropbox and allows them to save it into his. Fairly simple, right? It's distributed unhosted application for sharing. Could be anything, but I chose gratitude to begin with. And it works in reverse the same way. The thing about Grazi that I think is cool is this reciprocal nature, that you have to sort of acknowledge it, you know? That's pretty much it. So why is this cool? And this might not be the crowd where I have to explain this. And do we have time? I don't know. How am I doing with time? But, all right,
you're good.
Good. All right, scale. Scale. The big thing for me as an application developer is that now by building apps like this, I don't have to think about scaling the back end, right? The data is somewhere else, which is awesome. And I know a couple people have talked about that today, and I'm just like, yes, badass for developers. We need to be able to build apps so we can just instantly get millions of users and not worry about scaling it up. Innovation. I think this is a huge one. Being able to create an app that creates data, or somebody else can create an app that accesses that very same data. That's going to make we've seen an explosion of innovation on applications that use other people's data and just mashes up, uses various mashups of data. Privacy is the third one. Super important, super not easy to sell, but people owning their data is huge. You know, we don't have to worry about one company somewhere screwing up and giving all of our data to somebody, or changing the terms of service and pissing off millions of users, and this sorts of things, or having it just go away like Google Reader. You know, that's not a privacy problem. Problems with what I built. I built with Dropbox and email, which are not ideal for lots of reasons. But it was a proof of concept. Trust is a huge one. We don't know that these emails that you get and these Grazis that you get are coming from somebody you really know. I mean, all you know is their email address. And it's via SendGrid, so you know if they don't know what SendGrid is, they might feel it's spoofed or whatever. You need some sort of identity provider, some sort of way to establish trust. Messaging, email messaging, I don't know, we do better than that. Dropbox, the servers where people store their data ought to be able to also just send messages to the people that they want to share that data with. And the other big one is authorization. Dropbox is a public, you can have two types of access. It's private or it's public. And that's it. You don't have fine-grained control of access to data. So that blows. And then the other thing is applications. You can't, I created a Grazi app, sort of namespaced it and put it in one little spot, and if somebody else creates an app, they can't access via their API the data that I created in Grazi, which goes against the whole innovation benefit that I talked about earlier. So you can't really do what I hoped you could do with Dropbox as the back end. Point is, we need a personal cloud to take care of these problems. They're going to solve these problems for us. And it's not just to set gratitude free, but it's because our entire digital identities are yearning to be free. So, thank you.
Questions? Yes.
I missed something. How is this better than just sending an email to your person and saying thank you, and the other guy replies and says, you are welcome?
Great question. Great question. I'd say it has to do with data format. It has to do with how it's stored and how it can be accessed. Email is not a very great way to organize all these documents. They're very well structured documents that say something meaningful. They describe a value exchange between two individuals. And I think that document has very interesting use cases. And if you just bury it off in the email somewhere, sure, you get the benefit of just saying thank you to people, right? But I want to see what else we can do when we start accumulating all of these things, like Yelp reviews or comments and all these other contributions around the web.
Or accreditation, right?
Accreditations.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what's cool about it. We start building these things, and then everybody can dream up other uses for them.
Like a trusted document from an organization that accredits a person with a certain level of information, like learning, or a degree document, or something that's more secure than, or needs to be more secure than like a thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely. Cool.
So, I don't think you said what's happening on the server versus the client.
Oh, well, in this implementation, the only server component that I have is just the forwarding the email. My server does nothing in the way of storing the data. The client application is downloaded to both of the users' browsers, and most of everything happens between them.
Can you accumulate and kind of claim how many things you got in a certain tag and public?
Yeah, that's the next piece I'm working on, the viewing your gratis bit, and that's, I think there's a lot of fun things we can do there, but definitely at least browsing, sorting them by various tags, and by creating like lists of the public URLs that you could hand off to somebody else's client Grazie app that would pull up a view of the Grazies you want to share and stuff like that. I think we can do these things distributedly, but it's a little more challenging.
To echo what he said, I mean, you're saying email isn't categorized for this, but this is an ancient operating system concept, message passing.
Right.
It's been around for many, many decades, and publish and subscribe been around for many, many decades. Those concepts aren't new. But I guess the same challenge I issued in my talk, which is how do we use this technology to deliver all the seductive things people want to share?
Yeah.
All those seductive things that the corporate clouds that don't have to worry about anything because they just have it all in one database. How do we deliver those things with the technologies we're trying to describe?
I think you hit it right on the head when you gave your talk, which is we need to deliver compelling applications and solutions to people. So
This is the anti-personal cloud front.
But create cool apps, you know? This is just the start. So people start creating these documents. Somebody else is going to come up with another cool way to use them.
More importantly, but I don't think anybody cares about how it's structured in the back. In other words, you keep saying,
Yeah,
how do we
we
get
care.
people to use them? They don't care about that.
Yeah.
You just got to, the application's got to be
We've
interesting.
got to do the cool things people want.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you. There you go.
I think this is, on a personal note, I think these kinds of projects and presentations for me are very useful. Because somebody tried something in a way that hasn't been tried before, and we can learn about it. And yet there's all these things we can throw at it, and this is all early stage, so 90% is not going to end up the way it is being presented, right? But it is interesting. I hadn't thought of basically using email to put things into other people's Dropboxes. Okay?
Oh, is there a way to thank you for your talk?
Yeah. Email address.
How many people here love gateway controls on Wi-Fi networks?
This is right, are we on? It doesn't
You gotta go
really
through
matter.
We're
What's
not-
that?
We're saying shut the lid, it dropped the whole split.
Yeah, that's fine. Actually, can
There it is.
Oh.
Shut up.
But is internet back on this?
The Wi-Fi.
No, you have to log into that stupid thing.
Ah, screw that. So I guess
I'll get it. We'll talk about the work phone.
I mean, my slides really don't matter that much. So I kind of actually just wanted to invert the Q&A bit a little bit. How many are developers in here? About half, a little more than half of the people. Awesome. How many people sort of were involved in the Builders group, or Spec Network, or Newstar? Let's see, quite a few. There are more Builders group. Travis, you guys. Hey, can you guys hold up your hands, actually? So if other developers in the room, like if you look around, talk to someone with their hand up. If you haven't already afterwards. These are people actually building personal clouds and related tools right now. Right? So Augustin and I have been talking quite a bit, and he was actually sort of setting up my presentation at the end with talking about the problems of it. So when he goes through Grazie, I mean, one of the key challenges here that you didn't actually see is that when you go to enter in your, the contact information of the person you want to send an email to, Dropbox doesn't have that shit, right? Like Dropbox does not have your data. It has your files at best, and it has them in siloed folders, right? Google Drive kind of sort of has this. Pretty much every other personal cloud out there is focused on files, and it's not really kind of focused on this data normalization and personal login piece that we're trying to solve with personal clouds, right? So the people in the Builders group and the Respect Network, we're trying to glue together some services and some user experience to try to make this actually work for developers. So we're hoping within a few months to be able to evolve Augustin's app to actually plug into some of these services to make this work. So one of the key challenges then, right, is actually being able to provision clouds from a developer login, right? So if right now if someone goes and uses Grazi, if they don't have Dropbox, probably they've heard of it and they're not going to be completely opposed to using it, so they can kind of onboard them, right? It's the same thing with all these apps that require Facebook to log into. We're betting that the user, we're layering our apps on top of those existing services. If we're going to try to move people over to personal clouds, we have to have instantaneous provisioning of someone's personal cloud if they don't have one yet. And this is where some of this work comes in on the Respect Network and Newstar. We're trying to get this spun up so that we can start provisioning some of these things. Obviously, you can still self-host. Most people aren't going to do that. But from an application developer perspective, if I've got some really great tools and I've got the ability then for when a new user comes to my site, I can give them a personal cloud. And now they can go and use that personal cloud for other apps. That's a really, really powerful thing. And that's kind of the lowest bar that we have to get over as a community in order to start unleashing the app potential. Online at all?
Yeah, you're online now.
You can try to
find yours.
pull up or even just pull back up.
Is this it?
Yeah, try refreshing that maybe.
I was online just a second ago.
Is that the right? So anyway, so there's, within the people that had to raise their hand, within the projects that are going on, one of the critical pieces then to solve the trust issue is an actual registry of common identifiers. So in the Dropbox model and in Grazi, like what we ideally want Grazi-like apps to become are self-signed certs being passed back and forth, or self-signed data, right? So it's not just about the email example, I can send someone an email and thank them and they reply back. It's actually me being able to send you a piece of metadata that's a signed thank you, and it may be a vouch, it may be a certificate, which we were talking about on the education side, it may be a badge. But that's a piece of data then that comes from me, you now own it, and you can use that to authenticate yourself or to represent yourself with another application. Right? And this gets incredibly powerful when you start looking at reputation systems and looking at like really interesting things you want to do with apps and getting apps to share data. So it's still
I don't think the URL's right, dude. Well,
Yeah,
I'm online.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So authentication issues is a big one. Registry issues is another one that, and that's again Newstar. It's actually running an XDI registry. Being able to identify, register common identifiers in it means we can reverse lookup people and solve some of the security and authentication stuff. And the data normalization bit. So one thing I wanted to ask is, like, why do you think users care about personal cloud? Like, what is the value proposition for users? Anyone have any ideas? Because lots of things have been thrown out, but there's we'll just kind of roll into the QA. So.
Actually, can I jump in there for a second?
Yeah.
We have been having a format where people have been talking, and then we have been going to the next room and discussing, and eating. One of the discussions that we've had among the organizers whether we should change this format occasionally to ask open-ended questions, as you just did.
Yeah.
I'm using the example here, and have a group discussion about it. Is that a format we should do?
Is this an open-ended question?
We should do it.
Which means, by definition, we cannot actually answer it right now.
That's a good idea.
So, or how should we do that? We could, for example, have some talks, and then instead of going to the next room, we just turn the chairs around a little, and we ask a bunch of questions, or even break up in multiple groups to discuss certain things like that. Does that make sense? Are people interested in
How
that?
many more people have yet to go?
Two more.
Two more. So.
Yeah, so, right. What I'm really asking is, can we move this into something like that after the talks? Does that make sense?
Sure.
And we just grab, you grab this part of the room over here, and you host a discussion about this, and there's a whiteboard.
So Johannes, I'll be contrary. I came to see my friends and talk to them.
You get to have the wine out there. Okay. Then I'm sorry,
Great.
I'm cutting you off right now.
Keep moving. Move on.
Can I ask you a quick question on this?
Yeah.
It seems like your identity is a big issue again. Some of us have worked on identity before. I think I heard that somewhere. Do we need a new personal cloud identity protocol, or do we have everything we need?
A new personal cloud identity what?
Protocol.
The question, do we need a new personal identity protocol? The clouds. I don't know. You guys answer that. Great,
Yes,
great
and
topic for conversation.
Okay. So it's undecided from your perspective. It's undecided.
No, I mean I think we could get this going with OAuth. I mean I think all the protocols exist at some level and they get better when we start gluing them together and introducing new protocols on it. But we shouldn't wait, right? The critical piece that we really need, is the reverse lookup. Is actually the registry because we have to solve federated trust issues, right? And I mean there's a lot of background and how that sort of builds up. We can talk about later. Yeah.
What's your name?
Joe, oh, right. Joe Johnston.
Thank you.
So that was the other big thing that I wanted to announce. So one of the things we're doing within the builders group, we meet every Tuesday. And what we're starting to do is document a lot of these ideas up at airship.io. Conceptually, airship gets you to the clouds, kind of you remember it that way. But if you go to airship.io, you know, it's a new account on Twitter as well. Link over to it, start following it, and then there's a kind of a Hacker News site that's linked to it from there that we're starting to post some links. So we're trying to set that up for the community and coalesce some of the conversation there.
I think we need to hand it over to the next speaker.
Okay, great. Just get the... So now, fingers crossed. Apple loving Microsoft and returning that.
Cool.
Okay, great. Hello everyone. My name is Jalno Koponen. I'm a co-founder of Futureful. And first I want to thank the organizers. Thanks for letting me speak here today. And of course every one of you that have come here today. A couple of words about my background. I'm not a developer. I'm a designer and humanist put into the same person. I've been working in the digital field for the past 10 years or so, leading different kind of projects. My true passion is that how could we create a predictive interface to the information around us. So I wrote a research article about personal future simulation systems back in 2009, and I started working on Futureful on 2010. So okay, we are going to delve into this topic. Your data should be your interface. I'm going to kind of tell you a bit about my work, and I would love to hear what you guys think. But first, context. So our memory, our brain processing power and senses are augmented by digital technologies. Let's think about Google Glass. I have my friend's birthday there. I have even my eyesight is getting better. Everything's there. At the same time, knowledge creation is augmented by digital technologies. Say Wikipedia or GitHub, we are creating knowledge together. Data visualizations help us to understand ourselves and the world around us. Sense making. Say in Yelp, you are viewing the world through the reviews made by other people. In Amazon, the algorithms are filtering information for me. Interesting stuff. And at the same time, physical and digital are coming together. So it means that people, places, times, objects are connected as we speak. What does that mean? It means that there will be new interfaces to our reality happening and emerging continuously. And very interesting question for me. Who or what is actually creating these interfaces to the information? Interfaces to our own realities. And what has been motivating me is to think that how could we use our own data to create better interfaces to the world around us? And also, how could we have more control over those interfaces that we deal every day? And that led me to start working on Futureful. And now putting Futureful into context, or what we are trying to do. Think about this. Everyone here has a unique way of seeing the world. Everyone here has a unique way of describing the world. There would be the new Pope tweeting first time. Everyone has a different reaction. Say it's Mondrian's art. Everyone sees it in a different way. Or be it Barack Obama. Everyone sees him in a different way. So I say that in order to use our personal data, in order to create a personal interface to the information around us, we need to be able to capture our unique realities that are inside of our heads. And that is the technology that we've been trying to build in Futureful. So it starts by mapping our interests in context. It continues by mapping we can start to create this adaptive interface to the information around us. We do it automatically, using combination of human curation and algorithms. This human part is very, very important here. And what it means very concretely that the application that we've built, there is no typing needed, there are no friends, you don't need to follow anyone in order to get interesting content or get your own interface modified. There are no categories, there are only personal categories, so to speak. And there are no feeds whatsoever. So how I kind of have it in my head that the new interface to the information around it has to be intuitively adaptive. It has to be anonymously collective. Personal wisdom coming together with collective wisdom. And for us, in Futureful, what we have built as a first kind of interface to this system that starts to understand our subjective reality is a new way to serve the web. So this is something that I wanted to share with you guys today. I would really like to hear what you think. Thank you so much.
Questions, comments? Did you have?
Actually, I need to.
Sorry?
He wants to think of it.
Later.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Right.
I'm going to be mean again. It seems to me you're another attempt to solve the non-problem of discovery. And so I wonder, why does everyone think I'm looking for new stuff, more stuff than I already get?
Yeah. That's
on the web?
Yeah. I really like your question, and I don't know if I can draw something here. Hopefully I can.
Just erase the password.
Yeah. But in order to start to understand a person, and like I said, this kind of personal subjective reality, we need something in between. So let's say here is Jarno. Here's my data. It is in multiple places. That's cool. Currently, we really don't have, like, say that I visit these different websites. I gave you like examples, BTL, Wikipedia, whatever. So okay, what we have in here, right now I interact directly with these sites. There is no customization whatsoever. Of course there is some customization, but not really in a way that I know that, okay, what kind of data is affecting that customization. Like I said that, I don't know the dynamics. How is Amazon personalizing? Why are certain Yelp results shown to me? I don't know really, right? So what I say that we need a new interface in here that I can use my personal account, I can use my personal information to power up in order to go to these places and these places to understand me. And it's not about discovery. It's about understanding me as an individual, to go to these places and seeing them. Let it be a very concrete thing that, okay, I go to a new site, and right now they are doing some kind of customization. I don't know what kind of customization they are doing, but I propose that these dynamics that you know exist are affecting that. For example, certain articles are pointed out, certain things are highlighted. And I see that what we've been building, and you are very correct on the thing that, okay, discovery, you can sum it up with that word. But at the same time, I think what we are trying to do, we are trying to build this layer here, understanding our personal subjective realities, and only one use case is this discovery.
So are you suggesting that there's a generalized algorithm that can take my data and help customize websites for me? Or are you suggesting that each website has to be, that someone has to write custom code to personalize each individual website according to what it knows about me from my personal data?
I think that this goes hard to this whole matter when we are discussing about this, that okay, why would people care about personal clouds? Why would people care about their personal data? So
could you provide a real quick answer?
Yeah, this is very quick. We need a use case that highlights to a customer, highlights to a person that, hey, there is my data, say it's in Google, say it in Facebook, and that I can take that data, and if I use it through that, say that that's the place that I can put all my data, that it can show value wherever I go in the web.
Yeah, but I'm just asking a binary question about, I mean, are you saying there's a general algorithm to do that, or it has to be specific for each?
I think now we're down in the bit of the rabbit hole. I think we need to move on. What I'd like to do is I would try to start this one here. I want everybody who has an opinion what we should talk about more about, and what should we talk about less next time around, to write that down here. Okay, there's some things that people have isolated. These are core questions that we need answers for. Others might not be so interesting. Write it down. Otherwise, you don't get to have an opinion next time whether we talk about the right subject. Okay? Thank you. Next speaker. Final speaker, I think. We have made it almost through the list. Okay.
Hi, I'm Sean, and I'm here to show you a couple of products that my startup has built, which we think has created a personal cloud. I'll let you be the judge. Right? The first product, I'm going to run through the 4 slides real quickly, and I'll give you a little demo. We have a product called Cloud Talk. It's an application that you download. Unlike those other freemium apps that you're using nowadays, we provide privacy with this app. We provide availability, and we provide savings. And if you take all those 3 things and you're able to put data into the cloud, you have more control over your data, and it becomes more personal, rather than somebody else managing it for you and you don't know what happens to the data when it goes to the cloud. This is a problem that a lot of people are having besides consumers and early adopters. There's a whole bunch of small, medium-sized businesses that can't afford administrators, cloud administrators. They can't afford a private cloud. So what is the next best thing? Next best thing is Dropbox, like a lot of people mentioned out here. The problem with Dropbox and all those other people like Dropbox is you have to trust them. You have to give your data to them. They encrypt it, they turn around, they store it on Amazon. The keys are the Dropbox employees. They can open them anytime, they can leak it, they can steal it, they can give it to the government. A lot of people outside the US don't like that. I think some of the people in the US don't like that either. So what we've done is, I'll go to the next slide. And I guess these slides are going to be presented to you, so there's a lot of information on this slide. You can read it at leisure. You can download it on any of your laptops, tablets, iPhone, not iPhone yet, Windows machines right now, and then Android. iPhone is to be developed next. What it is, it gives you a whole bunch of apps, store, share. We've written about 20 apps. They're very Dropbox-like. They're very all those different guys there's a collaboration app, there's a social app, there's all sorts of apps, and I'll give you a demo real quickly. This you own. We sell it for $10. One-time fee. There's no subscription model. We don't store your data. We just develop the software and we give it to you. You buy it for $10. You install it. The next step you do after that is you go to one of these cloud providers like Amazon, storage providers like Amazon, Google, Microsoft Azure, Rackspace. All of these guys rent you storage, cloud storage, raw cloud storage. And they charge you about 8 cents a gigabyte, or 10 cents a gigabyte. A lot cheaper than Dropbox. Dropbox charges you $20 for 100 gigabyte. Then they turn around and they put it in the Amazon cloud. The same cloud account you can subscribe to directly with Amazon. And they charge you 10 cents, or 8 cents it is in their case. Now, whether you store 50 GB with Dropbox or whether you store 90 GB with Dropbox, you're still paying them $20. If you store 50 GB with Amazon, you're going to pay less than $5. So it saves you money. You're going directly to Amazon with these apps. These apps do not require a server. They are peer-to-peer apps. They create a mesh. You can invite people to share data that you've put in the Amazon account. And for those people who don't want to entrust Amazon with your data, we also provide another product as the second product called a Cloud CD. Basically what we've done is we've taken OpenStack Cloud, a enterprise class cloud, and we've applianced it. You take the CD, there's an ISO available on our website, you blast it onto a CD, you put it in any physical machine, any Windows-based machine, You hit it once with a single click that says install, and it'll convert that into an OpenStack cloud that when you power it up, comes up, and it's your own personal, it's your own private cloud. So the cloud talks to either the private cloud that you built or Amazon and all these pay-as-you-go cloud accounts that those guys are giving you. It gives you encryption. It gives you availability, because what happens if Dropbox servers go down? What happens if Amazon goes down? And it's not like it's not happened, it's happened. You can have your own private cloud and go there. You can mirror things from the private cloud to the public cloud. And to us, that's what a personal cloud is all about. You're creating this layer, this cloud, on top of these private and public clouds, and you're controlling it. You don't like terms of Amazon, you can move your data to Microsoft. And like somebody said, the consumers will not host their own cloud. So they'll stick with Amazon and Google and all these other cloud providers. And that's, in a nutshell, this last slide talks about all the boxes that you can get and build it yourself. We bought that little box from Newegg, the Veriton box. It's like a Linux box. It costs you about $200, $250 if you buy a CD for $25. You got yourself a little private cloud. This is an HP box that you can get from the HP's website. Doesn't come with the operating system. And again, we bought these disk drives from Newegg. We put them in, and there you go. You get yourself a nice little OpenStack cloud of 20 terabytes. So that's what we've done. The OpenStack cloud that you build is as easy as administrating a NAS box. I don't know if some of the techies know what a network attached storage box is. If you bought it, it's as easy as that. Nothing is that complex. And on the, so let me just go and give you a demo.
Sorry, you're out of time.
What are the questions? I can give you a demo.
Yeah. Actually, we sort of, at the end of this, I don't have much of a wrap-up. There's more food and drinks over there.
I have some announcements. I have a few announcements.
Oh, yes. Yes, we need announcements. What about this? You stay right here. Yep. We do the announcements, and then you can give the demo right here, whoever wants to see it. Does that make sense?
Well, I just wondered if we could ask you a couple of questions.
Okay. Quick question first.
Sure.
Yes.
I wonder how open is the data format that your apps write to? Can the data be accessed by other applications outside of your content?
Great question. We wrote 20 apps. So if I'm just going to show you these 20 apps right here. These are the 20 apps that we built. We'd like to open up this platform so that developers like you guys could write your own apps. So you don't have to worry about it. All these clouds have different interfaces.
But could it be accessed by applications outside of your platform?
It can be, but it's encrypted. Everything's encrypted. So you'd have to share the encryption key. And again, when we open it up, you'd write your own app from this platform. There's one app, the Share app, that doesn't encrypt, where you can just use a URL and share your data with people.
Have you seen Unhosted's model where they provide an open protocol to connect to remote dumb storage and run applications against it?
No, I'm not. Okay. So the idea of our app is to run on the device. We're kind of going a little bit different. So what we are essentially doing is moving the person, the administrator, out of the way, and the server out of the way. If you want privacy, you don't want to give somebody else your data to store. You eliminate that, then you'll get privacy. If you give it to somebody else, don't expect privacy, because they're going to encrypt it, they're going to move it around and all that. So we're taking the middleman out of the way. I'm sorry, I mean, sorry, go ahead.
One more.
Yeah, so when you say that your store things on Amazon, taking the middleman out of the door, is that because you encrypt the data?
Yes, we encrypt the data on the device, so when it leaves, so they use our corporate keys, or you can use your own key. There are a couple of apps here where you can use your own key. Since we're not involved in storing your data, if you did use our corporate keys, we'd have to know where you store your data. We are out of the way. So it's like, you don't trust anybody. You get everybody out of the way. You have your own keys. The Amazon employees look at it and they go, yeah, I see it's occupied space, but I can't do anything with it. And that's exactly what you want, these pay-as-you-go accounts. It's like renting a place and you put your luggage out there, right, or your furniture out there. The guy gives you a space and you lock it and you walk away. And he can open it and he can go inside, but he doesn't know what these files are. He can't open them because they're encrypted with AES 256 encryption, the strongest form that's out there.
Okay, thank you. Now, anybody who has any kind of related announcement to make, be brief and to the point. This gentleman is first.
Hi. So, so for announcements, a lot of you are new. So if you have jobs that you're looking for, people that you're looking for, events that that the community should know about, cool things you've seen that you just want to let people know, that's what this part of the program is for. Speakers, please send your decks to me, and we'll get them up on the site.
Does everybody know who this guy is?
Oh, hi, I'm Phil Wolf. I'm with Personal Data Ecosystem Consortium, Incorporated.
So would you spell out your email address, because what we try and do is a write-up of each of these meetings, because lots of folks can't make it. And we really want to show at least one slide for your presentation, summarize your key points. But if you don't give us your presentations, we can't do that.
Thank you.
Please do send Phil. Phil, what's your email address for everyone?
My email address is phil@pde.cc.
PHIL.
PHIL. Thank you.
All speakers, please send your slides.
There we go. For those of you who came but didn't sign up, please leave your email address. We'll have a sign-up sheet on the way out so that we can remind you about the next events. Next events, we have IIW coming up. Should we be rolling our next one into that, or?
So a few of us have been having discussions and figure out the logistics. Right now, it's not confirmed, but it looks like the Monday of the IIW week, which is the first full week of May. Doc Searles has his BRM meeting at the Computer History Museum in Mountain View, Monday all day, I believe. And the idea is to grab another room, essentially next door, and then have something that is either partially in the same room, or we haven't figured out the details. But it would be good if the more technical community, which is what this I think is largely about, with the more customer user interaction kind of community, had a way of getting together.
And I just confirmed with Phil Winley today that they have both rooms.
Okay,
so
cool.
It's definitely at the Computer History Museum starting at 9 a.m. on the 6th.
And they're going to play music, and people can switch rooms when the music stops. That's what send email to the list.
Yes, and we have a mailing list, you know that, right? Personal-clouds.org is the website. There's a mailing list from which you can access that. We need to figure out what we would do with the whole day. There's a ton of things we can do. The question is, this community does not consist of some people declaring what is going to happen. It's our place. It's commonly owned space. So what should we do? You have an opinion, say it.
One suggestion is that, Doc's work in BRM is a good answer to Brad's talk about how you can give control to a fourth party that acts on your behalf and creates a lot of value for you. So sort of. But that would be a good discussion to have.
Hopefully we will have enough time that we can actually hash out some of these things instead of just having some opinions and some disagreements, but we actually can get down and really figure it out. And I also like to see some actual technical work, discussed in more detail. Which is, I think, useful, because I think we all agree that these personal clouds at some point have to federate somehow. And there's a ton of things that needs to occur on a technical and on the organizational level that could ever do that, right?
Do you have an announcements-only mailing list?
So far, the volume hasn't been so high that we really need that.
I never joined mailing lists anymore, so
Oh, okay.
We'll start one for you. How about that?
No, there's some irony.
Yeah, I know.
I was just going to say, you honestly, Respect Network, the set of companies working together, we've got several of them here. One of our goals by IW is to be there with not just specs, but code for discovery protocol that Jim talked about earlier, sample apps that operate against the personal cloud stack. The XDI 2, Marcus Sabadell will be there with the open source XDI server. So we're really going to be ready to talk turkey and get feedback on every one of those things. We want to integrate, show unhosted apps. Hopefully Grazie's operating against it by that point.
And one of the useful things to do was, for example, if everybody actually brought code. that will be a new one for IW too, but we could do that, and it depends whether there's enough code in the room, so to speak, that this is useful, or whether we have to do other things first. I don't know, but let's figure it out on the mailing list. Let's move on to the announcement. Any other announcement?
No, that's it for right now. Thanks, all. Thanks, everybody. Go ahead.
Yeah, actually,
stand up.
Okay, stand up. Oh, hi. If you guys remember me from the first talk on NIMS and such. To piggyback off of that, because there's a bunch of stuff going on. Oh, hi. Okay. To piggyback off of what you guys were just saying, at the same time that it sounds like IIW and Doc Searles thing are going on, down in Santa Clara, which is just down the street from Mountain View, there is the, what's it called? The National Strategy Trusted Identities in Cyberspace, the IDESG Consortium is having a meeting. So it's basically all these governments and corporations that are trying to put together policies for how online identity will work. And the NIMS community, we're actually trying to arrange for a bunch of people to go down there on May 9th, which I think is the Thursday of that, which it's the last day of IIW and it's the first day of the IDESG meeting, the plenary as they call it. And we basically, there's the standards committee within their plenary is having a use cases meeting, and we would basically want to have a bunch of people who have or believe that NIMS should be something online to come and show what the use cases are, like why somebody might want to use one. And we're trying to get as diverse of a crowd as possible because at the moment the IDESG is not super diverse, and we want to change that.
And where can they learn more about this?
Yes, they can learn more about this nimrights.org. If you go to nymrights.org, I'll go marker it up there in a second. So
thank you.
Any other announcements?
Great. So how would you like to break up the floor?
I don't know. Who are the speakers who think they really would like to continue talking about what it is? Put yourself somewhere in a part of the room, hold up your hat if you have one, and people should come around you. That works. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that. Okay, thanks everybody for coming. We have the room as long as we want, unless somebody at Microsoft changes their mind. That's what I heard when I asked. So we can discuss as long as we want.
Anyone who wants to come and see a demo can come up towards the front. Thank you.
I try that.
Hey, Beer, how's it going, man?
I know, right?
One person
I'll just need this.